All right. Hello, everyone. We are here with Doppio Group, and we are going to review this October's Infor disruptive changes. Every 6 months, Infor pushes changes into all of their environments. And ahead of those changes, Infor releases this document announcing what changes we can expect to see. So in preparation for the Infor disruptive changes that are coming out this October, Doppio consultants have gone through and reviewed each of them and done impact analyses on each of them to determine what the impact will be of each of these changes. So today we are going to go through and review some of the highest impact changes that we are seeing upcoming in October with Akhil and Athar from Doppio Group. So Akhil is going to go ahead and get us started.
Hey, thanks, Morgan, for giving me the opportunity to speak about some of the most important changes which are coming up in October 2024. So the first one is, if you go to page 14, we can see the change which says MMS200MI all field mode. Some output fields are now not including any information. So this change would affect MMS200 API transactions, which are get item basic, get item warehouse basic, get item warehouse balance, get some warehouse balance, and get item facility. And the change has been implemented to improve runtime performance of these APIs. So the thing is that these transactions are used extensively throughout the day to get data related to items. And let's say if API has 50 output fields, data returned by a lot of those output fields might not be getting used. So to improve the runtime performance, Infor has introduced a new field, ALFM, which is all fields mode. If ALFM is equal to 0, the data won't be returned in a lot of output fields. And if ALFM is equal to 1, then data would be returned in all of the output fields. And by default, it would be set equal to 0, which means data won't be returned in a lot of output fields. So what we need to do is that we need to review if all the integrations that we are using, if any of those integrations need the skipped fields, then we need to ensure that we set ALFM is equal to 1 so that we start getting the data in those skipped fields and the integrations are not broken. So this is one of the changes that we feel might have a good amount of impact, because these APIs are very frequently used and there is a high probability that the customers are using this API in one or the other integration. Okay. The next one is, if we go to page number 27. So it says CFT clients will no longer support old grid versions. Okay. So from the maintenance window in October 2024 and onwards, the earliest supported grid version used in CFT client installations will be 2.0.20240117_115638, as we can see in this document. And grid versions older than this version will no longer be supported. So to deal with this, we have two options. First, we either upgrade the grid, and for that we can refer to the article 230.9921 as mentioned in this document, or we can move away from the CFT and use cloud storage instead. And for that, we can refer to the article 228.0528. And obviously, if our customers need some help, Doppio can help with this. The next one I like to talk about is again on page number 27, the very next one, which says CFT clients will no longer support Java 8. So currently both Java 8 and Java 17 are supported runtimes for the on-premise CFT client. But starting from the maintenance window in October 2024, Java 8 will no longer be supported as a runtime for the CFT clients. So, and Java 17 would be the only supported option. So again, we have to deal with this. We have two options. We either upgrade the Java runtime environment, or as we discussed in the previous one, that we can move away from the CFT and use the cloud storage instead. And for this one, again, the customers can refer to article 228.0528 as mentioned in the document. Okay, the next one is the archive programs MNS 906 and CMS 330. So the change here is that archive programs MNS 906 and CMS 330 will now run daily, and these will delete all the data which is older than 2 months. Now MNS 906 is to delete the output files, and CMS 330 is to delete the log files like web service log, error logs, API error logs, event logs, or the batch order error logs, etc. Now once this change is enabled, all the logs older than 2 months would be deleted. And so if you want to preserve the logs older than 2 months, then we should be setting up an archiving policy in AMS 100. Okay. Again, this is important if you don't want to lose the logs. If we don't take the action proactively, then we might end up losing a lot of output files and the logs. And the last one which I like to highlight is the new standard layout for printouts PPS 601 PF and PPS 608 PF. So what used to happen is that purchase order documents, they have all the purchase order line information organized in one single sub document section. And if a purchase order line has a delivery address that differs from the header or the previous line, the delivery address also displays before the label of the line. Okay. And additionally, for document variant 30 or 40, manufacturers are always listed in its own manufacturer section, regardless if the list consists of one or multiple manufacturer. And so the errors were encountered when printing purchase orders with the line specific delivery addresses. And also the correct manufacturer label and manufacturer name was not always printed on the purchase order lines. Now to fix this, the change is that after the change, purchase order documents printed with document variant set to 10, which is complete, or 20, which is set to header printed or blank, they will have all the purchase order lines organized in one single subdocument section. Okay. So right now each line has its own subdocument section, but going forward, all purchase order lines will be organized in one single subdocument section. And if line unique addresses are used, the addresses will be presented before the purchase order line label and information. And this one, the second one, this is regardless of the document variant used. The first one is for if the document variant is 10, which is complete, or 20 is equal to header printed or blank. Now to achieve this, a refresh of the XML structure would be done for the new line unique addresses and the manufactured sections to take effect properly. And updating to the latest version of the standard IDM layout will make sure that the new XML will work together with the layout. So if, however, for customized layouts, the manual changes may be needed depending upon what type of customizations have been done. So if no customizations have been done, then it is okay. But if you have done the customizations, then we need to review the current XML document layout for PPS 601 PF and PPS 608 PF. And after the change is enabled, we should review that the changes which have been done to the XML structure. Do we need to do any changes in the layout in IDM because of that, in IDM or Extreme or any other output application that we are used? And we need to make sure that the tests are performed after the activation of the change before printing and using the affected documents going live. And one thing we need to note here is that this change will be delivered without the possibility to toggle. So we need to take care of this change. And if we need any instructions for updating the XML structure, that can be found in the KB article 22221119, as we can see in this document. So those were some of the important changes that I wanted to highlight. Over to Athar.
Thank you, Akhil, and thank you, Morgan. So maybe Morgan, can you go to page number 7 about statement of account? Okay, so in statement of account is a document which client uses to send a statement to a customers. Mostly it has a lot of limitations earlier where no API support was there. Even while creating statement of account in ARS 140, it was not possible to update. So many manual effort was there. Even API was not there. So Infor made a drastic changes in this program. So like for example, there is a new program called ARS 640. This program provides all the flexibility which ARS 140 had a limitations. So using ARS 640, we can enable schedule the job as per monthly requirement, and also we can automate many processes which were not possible earlier. through ARS 140. So one changes I see in finance, in account receivable management, which client can use. Definitely, they haven't given much information on this document, but yeah, there are additional APIs got created, which we have already worked on and created a document on it, which Doppio can support for client in enabling and using this process more exhaustively, so that they can benefit out of this new program. But yeah, once we activate this KB article, there is a problem that we cannot use existing ARS 140. So before activating KB 2287605, it's recommended that any data they have to just keep and they have to close the open AR statement. That's one. We can move to the next one, page number 9, about cash discount. Okay, so in the cash discount, earlier when we used to automate bank confirmations through ABS 100, and if the invoices used to have a cash discount, so the cash discount used to get calculated beforehand. So Infor had made changes in this for cash discount for on AR statement, that when we confirm bank statement, then the cash discount is adjusted as per the revised date. Because cash discount in AR for AR invoices are based on the number of days as per the configuration. So if we say that make payment within 5 days or 7 days, you are eligible for cash discount of say so and so percentage. But we had a problem earlier where when we create bank statement in through ABS 100, the cash discount used to get calculated beforehand, and while confirming the old cash discount used to update. But informative changes that the cash discount would be adjusted and recalculated at the time of bank confirmation based on the number of days. So that one changes I can see what Infor made. Definitely, there is no action needed, but when business uses it, there may be question why M3 is behaving differently. But yeah, this is a source code change, not any API specific things that business has to plan accordingly when to create state AR statement and when to confirm that statement. For example, if the business is using creating AR statement well before in advance, 5 days or 6 days in advance, and confirm afterward, they have to change this process slightly. So that's the second one. I'll move to the third one. That's multiple delivery method and multiple delivery terms. So earlier, what used to happen? There was a possibility to have multiple delivery method and delivery terms for one delivery note, and that is not practically correct, because say for example, when supplier sends a material through one delivery note, there could be one delivery method. There might be multiple lines. So those and this comes because of the error in the order line on order header. So what Infor did, Infor made a changes to have a unique and streamlined process to have a single set of delivery method and delivery terms in the purchase header and purchase line order line. And when when delivery note is created through either PPS 360 or even PPS 260 and MHS 850, it is not allowed to have multiple delivery line even by error. So if there are some errors while adding this delivery note line, system will give the error. So this is one process change what Infor has corrected. I would say this was a kind of bug earlier, but Infor made a good change in this so that we could have valid data in the delivery note while before performing PO receipt. And I think, yeah, there is no changes needed. Only the thing is, if we have such error while performing processing delivery note through PPS 360 or even MHS 850, there would be an error message which business will face. And once they get this error, they can correct it in PPS 360, or maybe when this detail is created in MHS 851 and 852, then they can correct in that program also. Yeah, this is the changes what Infor did brought up, and definitely no action needed, as we can see it here. We'll move to the fourth one. The fourth one is item category. Yes. So MMS 001, let me tell you the page number 18. Yeah. So in this case, what Infor did earlier, the item category used to pick up as per the API. Like when we use business used to add item through MMS200MI, add item basics. Whichever item category we used to put, that used to pass in MMS 001. But it might be correct, it might not be correct, and contradict with item type. That item category connected with item type. So what Infor did, Infor made a changes in this in the API MMS 200MI add item basics, that if the item category which is going to be added or updated in item master MMS 001, it should be some connected to the item type. So in CRS 040, if there is a difference, then there would be error. And yeah, in addition to that, what we did for our client, they had this API, because this MMS200MI is extensively used almost by everyone for item upload, item update, and item deletions. So we reviewed these all transactions which they used, and we also checked whether item category they are manually passing through API or not. So yeah, one of our client did use, so we advised them to change this behavior, and we updated this API MMS 200MI. And yeah, it is recommended by the business to get it reviewed and update MMS 200MI. So there are mostly add item basics, update item basics, all this need to be updated. So we'll move to the fifth one. The fifth one, that is MMS 800MI. Yeah, so this is again another API where if we are adding item, including catch weight, page number 25. Yeah. MMS 800MI, that is internal stock messages, when we upload or update item and locations and all. So if we are using decimal places like MMS 001, and item master allows maximum 6 decimal as per the configurations. But in many cases, while catch weight, it might there may be chances that through API MMS 100MI, we may pass more than 6 decimals while updating internal stock messages. So earlier there was no control by M3, and that control has been implemented by the new API, that new changes by Infor in MMS 850MI. So yeah, once this KB gets activated and this change gets activated in M3, there are chances that users will keep getting such a message. And the best possible solution, what we can recommend here, that we can round it off, like we can automate in rounding it off to up to 6 decimal. If by business, like there is an integration with some other system, some inventory system, and in that, while uploading, adding, and updating the item, there may be more than 6 decimals. So that automations Doppio can do it properly, so that even there is an integration with another item interface, that can be managed very well by us. And otherwise, business has to take care of such messages when they come across such error message, and they have to update the item file, which is imported either through API or through some interface applications. That's the fifth one, and we'll move to the last one, like for today. That's item master, add locations. So it was possible to add locations with lowercase of M3, like not 1 to 3, like 1 to 3 and all alphabetic character, we can use it after these changes. But if alphabet with a lower case was there, it was possible earlier. But Infor made changes that all item master, all item locations need to be updated in uppercase with digit 0 to 9. So, but what we did, we reviewed some of our client. There were some item location which was in lowercase. So we advise business to delete the existing one and create the new one, so that while performing all PO receipt or even delivery, there should not be any error. Because item location is a place which we find which may have an error at subsequent level, like while performing PO receipt or delivery, quality inspections. All these places, these locations are used, and informate changes that while doing these processes, these transactions, the location is key, and that location they have changed it in uppercase, like they have made it standard. And Infor has suggested us to review all the existing, either through list locations, or and even we can delete. If, for example, if you notice or identify some locations in lowercase, the same can be deleted very easily through the API delete locations. And these changes, one of our client, we did it, and our team is in process of just getting it created a new location in place of the one which in lowercase, and we'll delete whichever we identified. And the same thing is advised to the client, that they can review their locations in MMS200MI, and after reviewing, if some of them are identified with the lowercase, then they can delete it after creating the alternative location in that place. That's it from my side, Morgan and Akhil.
Okay. Well, thank you, Athar and Akhil, for reviewing and highlighting those changes. If there are any questions following that review, or any questions about any of the other changes, please feel free to reach out to us at support@doppiogroup.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, Akhil.